We are in the middle of a world transformation, both in the physical reality and the spiritual reality. There's so many things that are changing and happening fast, and sometimes we need to find our own center and find our own realignment. So how do you do that, and how do you take your power back? We're going to get into it after this. Hi everyone, it's Jenny Yetto from the Pixie Post, and I'm back for episode 3 of Mindful Mondays. Today has been kind of a weird day. It's colder than normal. It's only 59 degrees at the moment, which is kind of crazy for the month of June. Plus, I've been really tired out today. I've been feeling a very heavy energy throughout the day today. So I took a nap. That helped quite a bit. Timmy is over there all snuggled on the sofa, and he definitely wants to cuddle more. I might do that in a little while. Just remember, there's some days that you're going to feel tired. You're going to feel low on energy, especially since a lot of us are going through transformations, energetic change, and our version of awakening. And this is perfectly normal. Sometimes we have to have time to do self-care, even for hardworking entrepreneurs, and we like to put content out there. We like to show up for the world, which we most certainly should keep on doing. But there are times that you do need to take that nap or slow down for a bit and just relax. So I'm allowing myself that today, even though Mondays usually are my go get 'em kind of days. So I'm just kind of going with the flow, and it seems like things come to me a lot easier when I do. With that in mind, though, tomorrow is going to be my go day as far as I'm concerned. So we'll see how the universe supports me in that. This video is all about taking your power back. And a lot of us are coming to terms that this is something we want to work on, that we want to do. And we all have a unique truth. As we all are unique in our human avatars, we're also unique in our souls and in our spirits. So, of course, the truth is going to be different for everyone. However, there are different steps you can do to start working on that and finding what your truth is. Sometimes we may think we have figured it out, and then later on down the line, something happens in our life, or we go through an energetic shift and realize that wasn't our truth. There was something else that was. So it's one of those things, being aware is very important as you go along this path. Number 1, stop comparing yourself to others. This is really important, because when I was searching for my truth, and I'm still kind of in the process of finding out what that is, but I'm getting fragments of what that might be. I used to feel like I had to keep up with everyone. I had to keep up with the Joneses. I had to just do what everyone else was doing in order to be accepted, be in the loop, not miss out, the FOMO mentality, and just feel good about myself. And there were times I did, other times, it was great, and it was always nice because you build relationships, you have an engagement, and that is perfectly great when it's a positive thing. But there are times that it can be very negative. It can be very detrimental to your mental outlook and to the image you have of yourself, because that is not what you're here for. You're not here to compare yourself to others, because you have your own worth, you have your own value to share with the world. But the only way you can figure that out is by not giving into those things. It's not always easy, and I struggle with this quite a bit because I like being a part of things. I like being active. I love helping people. And most of the time it's a very, very positive thing. But there are times I do have to step back. Am I doing this for me, or am I doing this for the right intentions? And when I really look into it, and if I can answer myself yes, then I keep going that path. But if I can't answer that with a positive response, then I know it's time to reevaluate and reprioritize things for my truth. Number 2, take that first step. You're going to be uncomfortable. You're going to have pain sometimes. Things aren't going to always work out in the way you think they're supposed to, and that's okay. A lot of us are afraid of change because we're afraid of going out of our comfort zone. We're afraid of losing what we already have. Things that may not always be good for us, but we're still afraid to let it go, because what if we lose it? Where will I be then? The uncertainty really throws a whole species off. And this, in this context, can be very, very destructive, because sometimes if you don't let go of what you think something should look like, or of toxic relationships or old energy that no longer serves you, or even getting down to what really needs to be worked on in yourself, what triggers you, why it triggers you, why are you hanging on to a certain pain or a certain situation you went through, that might have changed your whole outlook on life or your world. And sometimes it's hard to really stop what you're doing and really take a look at yourself, because it isn't always pretty. It isn't something you should be ashamed of, though, or feel bad about, because it's just part of life. It's just part of the human existence. We're all here to learn lessons, and we're all here to grow and evolve from those lessons. But if we don't actually take time to really work through those root problems, or those triggers, we're never going to grow, we're never going to expand, and we're never going to get past that and work through it to get to the next step, which can be something so beautiful you would never have imagined how positive it would be for your life and for your life path. So that's when you start getting glimmers of what your truth is, what resonates for you, what you can finally work through to let that old stuff go. So that is a very, very important, and that's one of those starting points. That should have been number 1, but that is a very, very important thing, because if you don't start, nothing's going to change, and you're never going to move forward. And that goes not just in the spiritual path, it'll go even for your business, your personal relationships with others or yourself. You owe it to yourself to take a look within and do the hard work, do the shadow work. And yes, it will be hard, and it will be painful, and it will be something you might get that I want to run away kind of reaction, but stay the course, stay with it, and you will get through it. If you need help getting through it, don't be afraid to ask for that help. But all in all, it all is on you. It's basically, it all starts with you and all ends with you. So know that you can get to know yourself again, and know who you are, and know that you are important in this world. And number 3, this is last but not least, forget about what people think. And what I mean by this is, so much of our society is so focused on what others think. Again, going back to my first point, fear of missing out, keeping up with the Joneses so you can look better in other people's eyes. That's what social media does big time. You only see the highlight reel of people's lives. Yes, there's some people who go on there and air their dirty laundry, which in my opinion is not very helpful for others going through their struggles, and not talking about it like that. But I digress. Social media is very, very infamous for that, because you'll go on Instagram and you'll scroll through the pretty pictures or the happy relationships or the models or the selfies, or the great looking food, although that can be real. Great looking food can be awesome. But you start feeling bad about yourself because you're like, oh, well, I don't have that, and I don't look like that. I would never look like that. I was happy about this thing in my life, but that's nothing compared to this. And you really start doing that self-comparison, and it really starts creeping in, mostly subconsciously. And all of us are fall victim to that sometimes. And it's one of those things that it's better to limit your time on social media. It's better to step back from it and go, okay, what is good in my life? Even if you're having a rough life, even if you don't feel good about things, step back. There's always at least one good thing in your life. If you can find that, even if you have to look a little bit harder for it, you will find it. So that's kind of why I did my detox this month. Granted, I have my business posts scheduled and posting, but I'm not actually actively on there, and it's been quite a revelation, which I'll expand more on that video at the end of the month. But that anxiety starts melting away because you're not constantly comparing yourself to others, and you're not constantly worried about people's opinions. When you get to that point where you don't give a shit what other people think, there is a responsibility that goes with it, because it's not compassionate or constructive to go out and berate people or spill everything where it's going to hurt others. But at the same time, it's not your responsibility or even your business what other people think of you, because you're going to speak your truth. Once you're in your truth, you're going to be unapologetic in it. And that is the beautiful thing about knowing your truth, even on the discovering to knowing what your truth is. There is no one exactly like you in this world. No one with your DNA, no one with your personality, no one with your heart, your spirit, and your soul. Even your avatar. It's so imperative that you recognize what a beautiful soul you are, regardless of what you are like in the physical life. And once you start realizing that in yourself by taking certain steps to get to know yourself again and reconnect and know what your mission is, you're going to start caring less about what other people think. It doesn't matter. They're going to think what they're going to think, regardless. You could be Mother Teresa and, and do all this wonderful service in the world and just, be amazing. And there's always going to be that one person that drags you down or that, speaks against you or just doesn't like you. And what I started realizing is when I realized, this is several years ago, but I started realizing, okay, not everybody's going to like me. And that's okay. I used to feel like I had to please everybody and I was a people pleaser and that I have to get them to like me because, it's just, why wouldn't they like me, blah, blah. And it was a very resistant energy because the more I tried to do that, the more resistant they got, that they may not have liked me more or found me annoying or whatever. But when I let go of that belief that I had to have everybody love me or like me, not really love me, but like me, I started feeling my truth more. I started feeling more connected, and I was less afraid to speak my truth and thought, okay, if people speak against me, whatever, I'll acknowledge it or I'll be open-minded to it, because occasionally there can be constructive criticism in it that I can take with me to help my journey. But if it's a destructive energy that people are just tearing you down, I can either laugh at it or just ignore it, not give it power. Because when we give something power that's negative like that, more of that comes back to us. And that's why I'm always talking about not operating from an energy of fear. Operate from an energy of love. Because when we operate from love, we're not fueling the flames of fear. We're not fueling the flames of anger. Now, I'm not saying we can't feel what we feel. We can absolutely feel anger. We can absolutely not be a doormat and put up with people's crap. But when we come from love and compassion, we keep our hearts open more and we stay centered in ourselves. And if we get away from that center, that's okay. We just have to be more mindful to bring ourselves back to that point. But what's most important is when you know your truth, you won't care what people think. You won't be afraid to speak your truth or express your truth. You'll know that you are here for a reason, whether you know what that reason is or not. You don't have to know the reason why you're here to know your truth. Knowing that you have value and that you have worth in this world and that you are allowed to be here, that is when you know the truth. But no one else can do it for you. You can't look at outside sources for that truth. You have to do the work. You have to look within and work on that shadow work. Get to know yourself again. And if you're in an environment where it's hard for you to do meditation or get away from people for a while, that's when you speak up. Say, I need boundaries. I need this time. You don't have to say, I'm trying to find my truth or, or meditate, but just say, hey, I need time to myself. And if they don't understand that, that might be something you want to reevaluate in that relationship or in that household. We all need at least a little time each day. And it doesn't even have to be like something you're meditating every day either. Sometimes it's just some little experiences when you're being more proactive than reactive. That can give you a spark of what your truth is. But anything that doesn't resonate with you, anything that you're doing for someone else, anything that goes against how you feel, or anything that you don't feel in alignment with, then you know that is not your truth. So those are just a few pointers about finding your truth. I might do another video with esoteric topics like this. If you like this kind of content, please click like and subscribe. I would love to have you along for the journey. But most of all, do it for yourself. Work for yourself. Work on yourself. Because you're worth the work. You're worth the getting uncomfortable, because it will all be worth it down the line. It's always worth it. And if you're having a rough day and you're having a day where you feel like F it, hang on a little longer. Stay the course. Be kind to yourself. Take care of yourself. Take a nap. Do something you enjoy. And just know that you do have value. Until you get to know it yourself, I'm saying you have value. So, and it's an emotional path. And the journey never really ends. A lot of people think that the journey is always to an end point. And yes, there are goals you might want to achieve. There are levels you'll hit. But there's never an end, because we're here to learn. This is a school of life. We're here to learn the lessons we signed up to learn. And we're here to grow and evolve and become a part of something even bigger than we know beyond ourselves. So, anyway, that's it for the Mindful Monday today. I want to let you know how much I love you all. I appreciate your support. You all are amazing. Keep going with your content, spreading your light in the world, because the world does need you always. And until the next time, To know thyself is to know thy truth. Namaste.